Yes, let's start with the first question. And before the first question, what is given to us? This poem presents a moment that seems simple but has a larger significance. कि जब हम देखते हैं तो हमें एक छोटी सी बात ही लगती है, कुछ ऐसे लगता नहीं कि ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कि एक कौवा आकर पेड़ के ऊपर बैठा, उसने टहनी को हिलाया, बर्फ के टुकड़े नीचे गिरे, लेकिन उसका जो इफेक्ट हुआ है, that is very important. It has a larger significance. So the poet says, compare this other quotation from Robert Frost, always, always a larger significance. A little thing touches a larger thing. कि छोटी छोटी चीज़ों से ही बड़ी चीज़ें बनती हैं. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, हम थोड़ा थोड़ा सेव करते हैं तो हमारे पास बहुत सा अमाउंट इकट्ठा हो जाता है. In the same way, the poet wants to tell us that a little things touches a larger thing. कि अगर हम छोटी छोटी चीज़ों को इम्पोर्टेंस देते हैं, छोटे छोटे कामों को इम्पोर्टेंस देते हैं, तो ही हम कोई बड़ा काम कर सकते हैं. So it has a very large and great importance. Though the idea is very small, it seems a very simple idea, but it has a great importance that is explained to you in this poem. Now coming to the first question. Yes, Pushkar beta, please read the question.
Yes, ma'am. What is the dust of snow? What does the poet say has changed his mood? How has the poet's mood changed? The dust of snow is a joyful moment for the poet, and the poet says that the dust of snow from a hemlock tree falls on him, and this changed his mood, and his heart also gave him. And also his heart also made a feel to poet to change his mind.
Very good, very good. Dust of snow is considered as the small particles और द डस्ट ऑफ स्नो, जिसको हम कहते हैं ना बर्फ का बूरा सा, छोटे छोटे कण या उसका पाउडर सा कह लीजिए बर्फ का. डस्ट ऑफ स्नो फ्रेज रेफर्स टू द स्मॉल पार्टिकल्स ऑफ द स्नो. And what does the poet say has changed his mood? The poet says that his mood has changed with the pleasant touch of that dust of snow, with those pieces of snow, and he felt that the whole of his day has not been wasted. At least the rest of the day has been saved, because now his mood has changed. Earlier he was in sad and depressed mood, but now with the touch of the snow, that means you can say with the touch of nature, mood changes. So the poet's mood has also changed. Coming to the second question. Yes, Isha Sharma, read second question.
How does Frost present nature in this poem? The following questions may help you to think of an answer.
Your
First,
voice is not
what are
audible.
the
Please speak a little louder.
what are the birds that are usually named in poems? Do you think a crow is often mentioned in poems? What images come to your mind when you think of a crow? Usually, birds like peacock, mena, cuckoo are taken uh, are usually named in the poems of the poets, but a crow is never
Voice is a little bit
mentioned in
low.
the
But please speak loudly.
but a crow is never mentioned in the poem
Yes.
because because of its black color
Hmm.
and its harsh voice.
Hmm.
But here the Frost taken the crow in his poem uh, uh, to show his
Yes.
mood.
The question is, what does Frost present nature in this poem? As I have told you in the very beginning also, Robert Frost is very fond of nature and he touches nature in all of his poems, whether directly or indirectly. And this poem also presents nature as giving us a soothing effect. In a very dominant way, the presence of nature is felt in this poem. The questions that are followed. First question, what are the birds that are usually named in the poems? Do you think a crow is often mentioned in poems? What images come to your mind when you think of a crow? In most of the poems, we never find the mention of the crow, but the other birds which can be mentioned are cuckoo, nightingale, that means a soft and sweet voice of the birds which have soft and sweet voice. They are taken in the poems. But in this poem, the poet has used the image of crow. And when you think about the crow, we are reminded of the black color, a harsh voice. So we feel that crow is not considered as a good sign. It is considered as a bad omen. गलत sign माना जाता है इसको. Yes. Coming to the second part, now I would like Greg Bajaj to come forward. Second part.
Yes, ma'am. Second is what again? What is a hemlock tree? Why doesn't poet write about more beautiful trees such as a maple or an oak or a pine?
Yes.
Uh, the poet doesn't mention any beautiful tree and instead uses a hemlock tree. The hemlock tree is a poisonous plant with small white flowers. Thus, it is a negative symbol. But the poet is using hemlock tree here to show that even if we are the negativity is just our frame of mind. If we are positive, we can also find various positive things from the negative symbols.
Yes, the poet has used in this poem a hemlock tree, which is a poisonous tree with small white flowers. The poet could have used other trees, beautiful trees such as maple, oak, and pine, but the poet has used this tree, hemlock tree, especially just to create the idea in the mind of the readers and to make the people aware about this thing that this does not make any difference. That means the insignificant things, we consider some things, some objects as insignificant or ill omens, bad signs, but it does not make any difference in life. This is our way of thinking and our attitude. If we look at the things positively, we'll find good things, good ideas, good results. And if we look at the things with a negative attitude, we find negativity in everything and we find bad results. Clear? That's why the poet has knowingly used, deliberately used this hemlock tree in the poem to make the people aware about this idea. Coming to the third part, now I can see Divya. Divya beta, coming to the third part.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Third part. What do what do the crow and hemlock represent? Joy or sorrow? What does the dust of snow that the crow shakes off a hemlock tree stands for? And the answer is the crow and hemlock tree represent sorrow and depression felt by the poet in this material. In the poem, the dust of snow is the symbol of natural joy and energy. The
Yes,
dust of
crow and
snow that
hemlock tree represent sorrow because they are considered as negative symbols, and we feel that these are not good signs for our life. Whereas dust of snow that the crow shakes off a hemlock tree stands for joy and happiness, because this is the smooth and the soft touch of the dust of snow that changes the mood of the poet. Now coming to the next question, now I can see Parneet Kaur. Parneet Kaur, read question number 3, beta. Parneet Kaur, question number 3. No. Mahek Prabhakar.
Have there been times when you felt depressed or hopeless? Have you experienced a similar moment that changed your mood that day?
Yes.
Yes, there are several times when we feel depressed or hopeless. But the moment that change our mood that at that time is exposition to the nature or doing a one of our favorite work that makes us relax, and indeed that help us to build our spirituality too.
Yes, very good. Whenever you feel depressed or hopeless, you feel that your whole day has been wasted. And how you change that mood, sometimes you sit with your friends, you talk with your friends, you sit with your family members, wherever you like, and you start smiling along with them. That also changes your mood. And sometimes you sit in the company of nature, that will also change your mood. And sometimes those who like music, if they start listening music, at that time also your music mind changed and your mood changed. So there are many ways. You can do yoga, you can do exercise, you can do walk, you can have meditation. There are many ways in which you can change your mood whenever you feel depressed or hopeless. But we should try to find out some way out to come out of that sad and depressed mood. Should not be hopeless, but try to find out some positivity, some good idea to change our mood. And nature is the best solution as given in the poem by the poet. Suppose you get this question in the long form, you have to share your own experience first in one paragraph, and then in the second paragraph you can link it with the poem. Okay, as the poet got this experience, you can explain the experience of the poet also. Clear? If it comes in the form of a long question, then you have to divide it into two paragraphs. First, your experience, your feelings, and then linking it with the poem. Okay? Now, any doubt to anyone regarding this poem? Can ask quickly. Otherwise, we'll move to the next poem. Yes, Isha Bate. Isha, you want to ask anything? We
Excuse me,
discussed
ma'am.
about the poetic devices also yesterday.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
We have to write these questions on notebook, or you will send
No, no, beta.
assignment.
I will send you one assignment.
Okay.
Send you one assignment that is to be written in the notebook. Don't write these questions in the notebook. Already I have told you no back questions are to be written in the notebook. You will write only those questions which will be sent to you in the assignment. Okay? No problem. Let's move to the next poem then. The second poem that we have on the very next page in your book, Fire and Ice. Let's have one activity to introduce this poem. You can see the pictures on the screen and you can write down or think about the ideas or the feelings or the emotions that come in your mind relating to these two. One picture is of ice, one is of fire. And you know very well both the things you see in your daily routine, your life. You can see these pictures, think of the emotions, think of the ideas that come in your mind. Yes, Mehak Prabhakar.
Looking at the ice, the emotion comes in my mind is like ice is used to melt. So in the similar way, the tears come from our eyes. Ice symbolizes the tears, and where is fire? Fire is used to symbolize the fury of a person.
Yes, very good. Very good. Any other idea that comes in your mind? Anyone else wants to share? Beta, please come forward again and again. I can see the same hands. All of you must take initiative. Raise your hands quickly. Give your idea, whatever comes in your mind. Yes, Preet Kaur. Preet Kaur, beta.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Seeing eyes, the idea that comes in my mind is to cool down.
How?
Whenever if we are angry on someone and if we are in any problem, the eye symbolize is to cool down.
Ice make you cool down. Okay. What about
Yes.
fire? What idea comes in your mind about fire? No? Anyone else? Anyone else?
Ma'am,
Quickly raise your hands. Yes. Same students coming forward. I want someone new should come, take initiative. Very good, beta. You all must participate in the discussions. Archana, beta. Archana, beta. Please unmute yourself. Now,
Ma'am,
yes, beta.
ma'am, when I see these pictures, the first thing that comes to my mind is destruction. That both the things, ice and fire, cause destruction. But in my point of view, fire causes more destruction than ice. Fire is more bad for human survival. Like humans can still live in cold weather, but whereas they cannot live in fire, they'll just burn.
Okay, very good idea. New idea came forward. Yes, very good. Anyone else? Anyone else who wants to share? Malvika, beta. Malvika, Mehakmeet, Malvika, Mehakmeet, Sushant. Beta, please come forward. Tell any idea that comes in your mind. What is your thinking? Because you also see all these things in your surroundings. आसपास अपनी daily life में आप देखते हो ये चीजें. क्या idea आपके mind में आता है? If we think particularly about these two objects, ice and fire, any new idea that comes in your mind? No one? Okay. Coming to the next, we
ma'am,
have got the ideas of a few
excuse me, ma'am.
students. What they say. Now, the poem that we are going to read is Fire and Ice by
Excuse me,
Robert
ma'am.
Frost. Again, the same poet is coming as we have read in the first poem, Dust of Snow by Robert Frost. This poem is also composed by Robert Frost. Yes. See, what according to you is the strongest factor, fire or ice, in causing the end of the world? Just now one student has told that according to her, fire is the strongest factor. Anyone else who wants to share? Yes, same hands, no new hands coming.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, I also, ma'am, there were different ideas of
Yes, yes, tell
seeing
your
the
idea.
pictures of fire. Ma'am, by ice, I can think of a cold attitude, like someone is like ice is cold, someone may be cold and don't be so interactive. And also by fire, uh, it also may be referring to the something spark in a human to do something.
Yes.
Like we also say that you should have fire to do your work of interest. Like it can also fire can refer to this idea that we have something, some interest or some some interest or some spark to do some work.
Yes, very good, very good. Anyone else?
Ma'am,
Anyone else?
ma'am, ma'am, I wanted to share the idea about fire and ice, that fire represents aggression and ice represent calmness.
Fire represents
Aggression,
aggression and ice represents
calmness.
calmness. And what according to you is the strongest factor to end the world?
Fire is a stronger factor.
According to you, fire is the strongest factor. Okay. Anyone else wants to share?
Ma'am, according to me, both are destructive. Both can be destructive because excess of anything is destructive for, because they both are helpful to us. Fire can be used for cooking or make a heating effect. Ice is similarly used
Very good, very good. Now I think what you want to say is that excess of anything can be destructive. Excess of anything can be harmful. अगर हम लिमिट में किसी चीज को रखते हैं तो दैट कैनॉट बी हार्मफुल, मे बी फायर और आइस, बट द एक्सेस ऑफ एनीथिंग कैन बी हार्मफुल. कुछ भी हो, दोनों में से फायर हो या आइस हो, इफ दैट इज इन एक्सट्रीम, it increases the limits or it goes beyond the limits, that it can cause harm. Okay, coming to the next, see the lines of the poem. What the poet has given in this poem: some say the word will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Please try to understand first, before going for the explanation of the poem, that these two words are used in the form of metaphors or the symbols. What the poet wants to represent through fire and ice, according to him, fire refers to anger, desires, which causes greed, and then we have the feeling of dissatisfaction in life. फर्स्ट चीज आपने क्या माइंड में रखनी है कि दीज टू वर्ड्स आर यूज्ड इन द वे ऑफ सिंबल्स. व्हाट द पोएट वांट्स टू रिप्रेजेंट थ्रू द वर्ड फायर, फायर के थ्रू वो क्या हमें रिप्रेजेंट करना चाहता है, दैट वी पीपल हैव स्ट्रॉन्ग डिजायर्स. फायर मीन्स हमारे मन में एक डिजायर, स्ट्रॉन्ग डिजायर्स पैदा हो जाती हैं, दैट क्रिएट्स द फीलिंग ऑफ एवराइज एंड ग्रीड. एवराइज, AVARICE, जिसका मतलब भी यही होता है लालच. हम लालची बन जाते हैं, हम सोचते हैं हमें ये भी मिल जाए, हमें वो भी मिल जाए, सारी चीज़ें हमें मिल जाएं. ठीक है, तो उसके लिए हमें पैसा चाहिए. हम जैसे भी कलेक्ट करें, बाय हुक और क्रुक, गलत वे से करें, पैसा कमाएं, कैसे भी कमाएं, बट वी नीड ईच एंड एवरीथिंग, ईच एंड एवरी फैसिलिटी इन द लाइफ. That is due to the strong desires, the feeling of greed, lust, anger. ठीक है. And the second word, ice, ice represents to the cold, indifferent feelings, indifference attitude, indifferent attitude towards others. समझते हो, इंडिफरेंट, उदासीन होना, मतलब हम दूसरों के कोई चिंता नहीं करते, दूसरों के बारे में नहीं सोचते कि हम कोई भी काम कर रहे हैं वो दूसरों के लिए क्या अफेक्ट करेगा. हमें तो जो अफेक्ट उसका है वो है ही है, अच्छा होगा या बुरा होगा वो तो हम सोचेंगे ही. वी थिंक ओनली ऑफ आवर ओन, अपने बारे में सोचते हैं कि दैट वुड मेक गुड इफेक्ट ऑन इन आवर लाइफ, बट वी डोंट थिंक अबाउट अदर्स. जब हम दूसरों के बारे में नहीं सोचते, दैट मीन्स वी आर कोल्ड टू अदर्स इमोशंस, अदर्स फीलिंग्स. We are indifferent towards others' feelings, others' things. दूसरों की जो आइडियाज हैं, दूसरों की बातों के बारे में, दूसरों के ऊपर इस चीज का क्या इफेक्ट होगा, हम उसको नहीं सोचते हैं, हम सिर्फ अपना सोचते हैं. That is the cold attitude or the indifferent attitude. ठीक है. So you must keep these two ideas in your mind, that the poet has used these two words, fire and ice, in the symbolic meaning. And what the poet wants to tell in this poem is about an individual's behavior in terms of passion and obsessions. कि जब हमारे माइंड में कोई पैशन बन जाती है, स्ट्रॉन्ग डिजायर होती है, वी आर ऑब्सेस्ड विद दैट. ऑब्सेस्ड क्या होता है, जब हमारे मन में उस चीज का जुनून पैदा हो जाता है. जुनून मतलब एक ही रट, दिन रात उठते बैठते हमारे माइंड में वही बात रहती है, दैट इज ऑब्सेशन. जुनून हो जाता है. एंड व्हाट वी फील, वी कैन गो टू एनी लिमिट, वी कैन क्रॉस द लिमिट्स, हम किसी भी हद तक पहुंच जाते हैं. तो पोएट क्या हमें इस पोएम में कन्वे करना चाहता है, दैट वी शुड हैव कंट्रोल ऑन आवर इमोशंस, वी शुड हैव लिमिट टू आवर इमोशंस, आवर फीलिंग्स, आवर पैशंस एंड ऑब्सेशंस. बहुत ज़्यादा हमारी ऊंची हाई डिजायर्स नहीं होनी चाहिए, इट शुड बी विद इन द लिमिट्स. Because human emotion can destroy a person morally, physically and mentally. कि जब हमारी इमोशंस जो हैं हमारी इतनी स्ट्रांग हो जाती है तो हम उस वजह से किसी का मर्डर भी कर सकते हैं, किसी को मार भी सकते हैं. Human beings are so thoughtless when they are full of passions and obsession. कि उन passion में और obsession में क्या हो जाता है, we are having so strong desire that we never think about others, कि दूसरों का क्या होगा इसमें, and we go according to our own desires and own ideas. Not going to the lines, let's discuss about these symbolic meanings, only then we'll continue with the rest of the poem tomorrow. Fire and Ice is a strong symbolic poem. Fire is used as the emotion of desire and ice that of hatred. जब हम indifferent हो जाते हैं दूसरों के प्रति, we have feeling of jealousy and hatred, हमारे मन में दूसरों के लिए ईर्ष्या की फीलिंग हो जाती है, नफरत की भावना आ जाती है, because we don't want that others should go high than us, कि लोग हमारे से ऊपर वाले स्टेटस पर पहुंच जाएं, लोगों का हमारे से अच्छा स्टेटस हो, लोगों के पास हमारे से ज्यादा पैसे हों, हमारे से ज्यादा अच्छी पोजीशन हो. We don't want that. So we have feeling of indifferent attitude towards others. We have feeling of hatred and jealousy towards others. So the poet has used these ideas of two groups who have their own possible explanation for the end of the word. And accordingly, the poet has used these two symbols to convey the idea what people think about. लोगों का क्या view है इसके बारे में? Poet has described about two groups of people. दो तरह के लोग उसने एक्सप्लेन करे हैं यहाँ पर. कुछ लोग क्या कहते हैं, दे आर इन द फेवर ऑफ आइस. उनको लग रहा है कि आइस जो है दैट मीन्स इनडिफरेंट एटीट्यूड, हेट्रेड, जेलिसी की फीलिंग जो है, दैट इज लैक ऑफ फीलिंग ऑफ लव एंड अफेक्शन फॉर ईच अदर, दैट कैन डिस्ट्रॉय दिस वर्ल्ड. And the other group says that the world will come to an end with fire. That means strong desires and passions. कि हमारी जब obsession बन जाती है, हमारी strong desires हो जाती हैं, तो we can go to any extent and that can put an end to this world. Both the components are compared with self-destructing human emotions. That is desire and hatred. Both components, that means fire and ice, they are compared with the self-destructing human emotions. Human emotions हैं, हमारी human beings की emotions हैं. Desires हैं, that is also for human beings. Hatred है, वो भी human beings की है. Desire refers to fire and hatred refers to ice. तो ये दोनों ही destructive feelings हैं. The poet is originally of the opinion that he has been very closely associated with the fiery desires. कि पहले वो क्या कहता है कि वो fire की जो feeling है वो इस फेवर में है कि ये वर्ड जो है फायर के साथ एंड हो जाएगा, एंड कंसिडर्स इट कैपेबल ऑफ ब्रिंगिंग ह्यूमन बीइंग्स ऑन द वर्ज ऑफ डिस्ट्रक्शन. उसको लगता है कि जो फायर है दैट कैन ब्रिंग दिस वर्ल्ड ऑन द वर्ज, मींस ऑन द एज ऑफ डिस्ट्रक्शन, किनारे पर लाकर खत्म कर सकती है इस दुनिया को. देन ही कंसिडर्स फायर एज मोर कॉम्पिटेंट फॉर डिस्ट्रक्शन, बट देन ही थिंक्स दैट आइसी हेट्रेड is just as capable of ruining humans slowly and steadily. कि फायर जो है वो एकदम खत्म कर सकती है हर चीज को, डिस्ट्रक्ट कर सकती है, लेकिन जो आइस है इनडिफरेंट एटीट्यूड जिसको कि वो सिंबल फॉर्म में यूज कर रहा है, वी डोंट हैव टेंशन फॉर अदर्स फीलिंग्स. हम सिर्फ अपना अच्छा सोचते हैं, दूसरों के बारे में नहीं सोचते. दैट क्रिएट्स द फीलिंग ऑफ इनडिफरेंट एटीट्यूड टुवर्ड्स अदर्स, हेट्रेड, जेलिसी. तो इससे क्या होता है, दैट कैन ऑल्सो ruin द ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, दैट कैन ऑल्सो ब्रिंग एन एंड, दो इट मे बी अ स्लो एंड. Then the poet says, if earth was to end twice, ice would be just as good as fire. कि अगर दो बार कहता है कि दुनिया खत्म होनी है, पहली बार तो वो कहता है फायर से ही होगी, अगर दो बार उसको लग रहा है कि this earth will come to an end, then ice would be just as good as fire. तो ice can also destroy this world. So if fire would lead to rapid destruction, ice would lead to silent damage. जैसे कहते हैं ना silent heart attack हो जाता है, and that is the same thing कि आप टेंशन में हो, आप वरीज में हो, तो एकदम से अंदर ही अंदर प्रॉब्लम जो है आपकी बॉडी की क्रिएट होती जाती है, and that creates a silent damage to your body. The same can happen with ice. Similarly, if fire is pure passion, ice is pure reason. We don't reason, we don't think about others, we have the feeling of jealousy and hatred for others due to our indifferent attitude towards others, and we think only of our own. So the poem, very artistically, the poet has underpins the philosophy that we let our emotions rule us, and if don't control them, we are not able to control, they will surely bring us all on the verge of chaos. So we'll continue with the poem tomorrow. Please go through the poem and find out the poetic devices. You have the list with you of all the definitions. Analyze the poem. We'll discuss the poem and then the poetic devices tomorrow. Okay? Any doubt to anyone? We are left with 1 minute only.